Hello everyone, and welcome back to Satisfactory. Today, we're upgrading power. Welcome back. Alright, well, last episode was a rather short one, but we did complete the next tier of conveyors. That is a weird way to say it, but I said it. Yeah, we have tier 6 conveyors now, which means we can extract full pure nodes at 1200 a minute. That's going to be extremely useful for building, say, massive aluminum factories based off of the 4 pure nodes that exist in the red forest over here. But this episode, we're not going to be building a massive aluminum factory, and we're not going to be building the 40 fused modular frames per minute that I want to build. We are going to upgrade power. There are 2 ways that we can upgrade power. The first being do the entire nuclear power setup and associated recycling loop. I'm pretty sure that's a thing. That sounds like a lot of effort. Will require some phase 5 components, and generally I don't really want to get into that right now. I would rather have access to the full suite of pretty much everything available, such as particle accelerators and converters to make that, and we do not have radio control units, and we do not have turbo motors being produced right now. So instead we're going to upgrade power the second way, which is make rocket fuel. Now, in theory, rocket fuel is one of the best ways to make power in this entire game, or so I've heard. Now, I have done the math on this. With the 1,333 liters per second of turbo fuel that we're already making in our factory over there, we can get a grand total of 2,222.221667 liters per minute. That's a lot. We will also be getting a whole bunch of compacted coal, which we will be sending back to another smaller turbo fuel factory to make more rocket fuel, which we will then use to package up and use for the drones that we are going to be needing. We may end up getting to that this episode. We may not. I'm not really sure. But 2,222.22 liters per second of this rocket fuel can go into, let's see, what was it? 535 generators worth of turbo fuel, which will make a lot of power. I'm thinking we're going to be getting up to the 100,000 megawatt range because we're currently at 44, and this thing, yeah, it's going to be making a lot. But, of course, that does mean we're going to need 535 generators. I don't know if you've noticed, but generators are pretty expensive. 15 encased steel beams, 30 copper sheets, 50 pieces of rubber. I think that's 50 Caterium quickwire and 15 motors each. And we need 535 of them. Oh boy, it's best to get started immediately. Now, of course, to actually make this stuff, we need to get some nitric acid, which we don't actually need a whole lot of. To calculate the amount of nitric acid we need, it is pretty simple. You just divide 1,333 by 6, and we get 222 sulfuric acid per minute, which is not actually that bad. It is 12 to 3, which means we need around 888 nitric acid, some iron plates, and some water. That's pretty easy. Now, of course, we are going to be splitting this 4 ways, so we're going to have to do a little bit of math on that, but that's not going to be too bad. Okay, well, I guess there's no point in sitting around here. I probably should empty out my inventory, though, because it is completely full of garbage. Let's go ahead and do that. Now, there is also one other thing that I wanted to do. Can I actually do it, is the question. No, I do not have 100 power shards. I was going to say I'd like to get ionized fuel. We're not going to use it because I don't think it's actually efficient, but it may be nice to have because I'm pretty sure there's an achievement for unlocking the entire MAM library, so eventually, we'll probably want to get that, so I might just put 1 hard drive in this box, and then we can use the other 2 that we got last episode to start some additional scans. Why not? Okay, let me clean out my inventory, and we will head over to Oil Land for, in theory, the last time for building anything, and get started on this. Now, you know what? If I was smart about this, I would go set up one of the space elevator components and get it started working. Which, actually, hang on a minute. Maybe we do actually just do that, because let's think about this. This is going to take a very long time to build, and we may as well get started on one of those components. Now, what were those, bio sculpture thingies? Was that a thing? Yeah, biochemical sculpture. We have the assembly directory systems. We got plenty of water just everywhere. We should just make some trigons somewhere, and then just make these. You know? Why don't we start with that? Yeah, you know what? Let's start with that. And I've got an idea. The SAM that's over here currently is I think it's a Mark II drill that has not even been overclocked at all. So we definitely can take some extras from this guy and use the SAM here. We will run over maybe to this lake right here, make up a whole bunch of stuff. Now, of course, we are going to have to ship in some resources from somewhere. We may want to use these couple of iron nodes right here. I'm pretty sure you can make fixite that way, right? Yep, 24 iron ingots and some reanimated SAM will give us some fixite, which then we can turn into the trigons. which then can go into those sculptures. Now, this thing doesn't have to be very fast, so let's just do whatever we can do, right? Did I just stand around here yapping for 10 minutes about calculations with the SAM and iron ingots to get as much fixite as possible? Yes. Yes, I did. But I'll spare you the details. Essentially, we have 600 SAM available, and if we convert all 600 SAM into fixite ingots, we need 900 iron ingots, and that will give us 37.5 fixite ingots, which we will convert into 37.5 times 3, whatever that number may be, fixite trigons, which is more than enough to run 1 factory, maybe even 2, for the biosculptures. So that's what we're going to do. So anyways, this needs to be a Mark III miner with full overclocks. We're going to need some upgraded conveyors, and we're probably also going to need to take a splitter off of this thing, which it appears is too sharp to attach unless it's in the middle. So the middle it is. What on earth? That totally just moved. Okay, you know what? It's completely fine. Anyways, so now we've got our 600 SAM, mostly because this thing is turned off because it's full, and I'm going to completely ignore it because we don't really use a whole bunch of that right now. 600 SAM into 150 of these. Hopefully it won't actually be that much. It's just 5 constructors. That's not too bad. Also, I kind of want this to be a temporary factory, but also, in all reality, it probably won't be temporary. I'll probably just leave this here, but that's going to be fine. Anyways, the next thing we need to do is we need to convert all 600 plus 300, 900, or maybe we don't even need to do a whole bunch of tier 3 miners. We might be able to get 900 out of this without them. We'll see. We need to convert 900 iron into iron ingots and then send that on its merry way. So, time to make some iron. Oh, also, we have our hard drive scan completed. Ooh, that's a new one. Oil-based diamonds. Now that actually might be pretty good. 10 oil to 2 diamonds? Hang on a minute. Oh, wow, it produces 40 per minute? So that's 400 oil gets turned into 80 diamonds? Yeah, no, that is the case. You know, I think I'm just going to take this just off rip. This would be really nice to have, especially because I know there's a whole bunch of oil veins out there that I'm just not using at the moment. So let's take it. Cool. And also, let's get the next one scanned. Boom. There we go. Okay, I need to go grab some turbo motors, and then I think I also need to go make some more drills by hand because I did not take the automated recipe. I am still making these by hand. Honestly, that's perfectly fine by me. I don't care. But once we have those things built up, let's get some iron. Alright, well, good news. I have gotten pretty much all of the iron done, as you saw. I also had to go grab some more fuse modular frames here. Had to go make some more radio control units, which we still need more of, by the way, because, yeah, we kind of ran out. And I didn't realize that the converters are 50 to build one of those, and I need 4 of them. This is a lot. I'm also thinking that since this kinda would just be nice to have, I might just take the overflow of the trigons and just put them in a box with a dimensional depot, so we can just have them for building. That would be really convenient. Also, I should probably do something similar for diamonds. Maybe this coal vein over here, I just put another converter down, have it be turned into time crystals, and then put those in a box as well, because that would also be really nice to have, especially for tier 6 belts. Although I think we're making more diamonds than a single converter can handle at the moment, so maybe we want to hold off until we have radio control systems done, which I'm hoping to do relatively soon, because man, I'm getting really, really sick of making these by hand, I can tell you that much. There is one thing that I needed to do that I kind of forgot about until just now. We've had new machines. We need to make blueprints for these, so I need to make a left and a right converter. All right, well, there's one going left, and there we have the right one as well. That was not too bad. And in that time, I got enough radio control units for one more. Man, I really got to make a factory for those. Maybe that's what I should have done this episode. Should have just done that. But, you know, truth be told, we need this power upgrade anyway, and in theory, I shouldn't even be doing this right now. I should be focusing entirely on the power upgrade, but I mean, it'll be nice to have trigons anyway, you know? And of course, I probably also should just go over to the old place and grab some diamonds and move them into the converter, to start making some more time crystals. That's not a bad idea, and this thing doesn't have to be super quick. It can just be running slow. That's a lot of diamonds. All right, I got enough for the converters. I'm going. Turns out if you don't build a factory for the things you need, crafting it takes forever. Who would have guessed? All right, now here's the hoping these things don't actually take a whole lot of power to make the fixite. 1 to 400, okay. Very happy about that. In goes the reanimated Sam, and now we gotta merge all the iron in as well. Now, each one of these takes 240. We have 900 iron ingots. These belts can do 780, but if we subtracted 180, that is 720, which means we do have a full belt. So, if I'm smart about this, which I'm going to try to be, I slap a merger down on this guy, plug these all in, and then, since this is 900 a minute, guess what? Time to use some tier 6 belts. Boom, there we go. Iron is going in. We should be making 37.5 fixite ingots per minute. And there we go. Trigons are being produced. They should be going into this nice little box for storage and into a dimensional depot. Sweet. Now, all I need to do is run those over to I think it's a manufacturer, or no, it might be a blender. Run it over to a blender, mix in some water, mix in some of the other components that we already have, and then we can make our biochemical sculptures. So let's go run a nice little conveyor line all the way over to a pond somewhere. All right, and looks like I disconnected it somewhere because there's no triangles over here. Okay, well, whatever. Oh, wow, it's actually 40 trigons per minute, so we totally could just double that, and then we just need a simple pump right in here. You know, I figured I'd use this water at some point, and look at that, we're using it. And plug all that stuff in. Okay, so let's go fix the trigon problem, because I probably disconnected it somewhere. Let's go grab some assembly directory systems. Now, the real question is, how many do I want to actually dedicate to this? How about 500? I know it's 4 to 1, and we only really need 200, but I mean, we may as well make some extras, because why not, right? Plus, to be fair, I'm pretty sure the assembly director systems are still being produced, so if we ever wanted to just make these, we totally could do it. What happened? Why is the iron not going in? Oh, a piece of iron ore got in there? No way. All right, well, whatever. I think it was just a couple extra pieces got in there somewhere. We'll have to come over here and check on this again, but whatever. Okay, trigons are coming in. We should be doing just fine. All right, well, I'm just going to go ahead and plonk in 200 of them because why not? All right, but I am going to try to yoink one off the line here just to take a look at it because, you know, I'm kind of curious. Oh, what you got going on in there? You know what? I don't even want to know. So we'll just shove him into the space elevator. Okay, well, there you go. There's part 1 of 4. That's crazy work. Okay, you know what? Literally first, well, I guess maybe second, but second episode into phase 5, and we've already automated one of the parts. Not too bad. Now, I also could do the same thing for nuclear pasta, but that's kind of lame. I want to actually set up a decent factory for those. Plus, we're going to need the fused modular frame factory for that anyways, so we'll do that later. So now that that whole mess is done, we can actually do the thing we were going to do this episode, which is a power upgrade. Let's head over to Oil Land, and I guess the first thing we do is nitric acid. Unfortunately for the old fused modular frame factory, this thing is going to have to go. This node is what we are going to be using to make all of our nitric acid. It is, of course, right the way over here in Oil Land. You know, it does kind of check out that we would use this. Also, I am going to use some of the iron over here. I do not think we're using all of it. As a matter of fact, I think we're using, like, next to nothing. And most of it is going into packages, which is going into the temporary fuel setup. So I really do not care if we break that. We're not going to be needing it anyways in the future because that's going to be using aluminum for the casings once we need to package up rocket fuel, because rocket fuel is a gas, which is also going to be very helpful later. Anyways, so let's tear out all of this. We no longer need it. So to actually make rocket fuel, it is 6 to 1 on the nitric acid, and nitric acid is 12 to 3, so that is 4 to 1. So in theory, 6 turbo fuel plus 4 nitrogen and various other garbages will get us our rocket fuel. We have 333.333, and if we multiply that by 3 over 2, we will get 222.222 nitrogen per minute for 1 piece. There's 4 total pieces because everything is split up into 4 segments over there. I'm also very happy that we did it like that because 333.333 and you multiply that 6 to 10 is 555.555, which is enough to almost fill an entire Mark II pipe. So we will not have to do any kind of pipe splitting. We can do 1 segment at a time, so we also do not have to worry about power drops. This is going to be great. It's just going to be an excessive amount of generators, which I am just going to put them on top of that platform over there. I am not moving this entire factory. Absolutely no way. But I am going to rip out those generators and probably just place like 5 layers or so, depending on how many we need. But that's for later. First, let's get the actual nitric acid going. Now, the real question is, do I want to get all of it? We need 888.888. So do I want to just get all that and pipe that over in 2 separate pipes and then make everything over there, which actually makes the most sense, so we'll probably end up doing that anyways. Or do I want to make it over here? And I've kind of already made up my mind, so we're just going to pipe it over there. So how much are we actually getting out of that? 300 cubic meters a minute. I'm sorry. How much? How much does this thing like have? 1,500 a minute is the total, and we need 888. That's more than enough. Hey, and there we go. Pipes are in. That should be, I think we're sending 900 over here. But I tried to get it as nice and curvy as possible because curves are cool. Also, don't pay attention to that or this. Yeah, the curvy pipes, they tend to kind of intersect with each other when it looks like that. So luckily this is a gas and does not care at all about any kind of like fluid functions. It will just kind of flow. So that's really nice. So the math checks out to about 74-ish iron plates. I may just want to make 75 just to be certain, but 74.04 is pretty much exactly how much we need. I may just end up leaving this kind of thing here because right now it's just all going into making canisters, and 60 a minute on steel ingots, and if I'm not mistaken, there is a steel plate recipe. Maybe I don't even have it. Hold on. Oh, right, the hard drive scan that we scanned. I totally forgot about that. What did we get out of this? Nitro, rocket fuel, and automated miner? Yeah, no, ignore. Okay, anyways, there should be like a steel plate recipe in here somewhere. Let's see if I'm going crazy or not. Steel cast plate. It uses iron and steel in a foundry? I mean, I guess. Whatever. I'm just going to take that, and I'll probably end up using it just because we can. Yep, and it's only slightly clipping. Yay. You know, I feel like I should probably do something more like, you know, set up for this, but like, and then we can send this on its merry way all the way down to there. All right, so let's go ahead and put down the blenders over here. We need, how many was it? 7.407, which means 8 total blenders, so that is not too bad. Yep, and I guess we can have them going to the left, and then we can pipe in the plates from here. Actually, I might be able to like line up the conveyors here. Oh yeah, I totally can do that. Okay, let's get this nice and lined up. Okay, well that's, minor, what on earth? It's going into itself? What? So there must be nitrogen in this pipe. Indeed there is. So I think the best course of action is just going to be dedicate this lower nitrogen pipe right here to this guy, because it kind of already plugged itself in. So thanks. And this is the output, so that's not even... Oh dear. This is going to look extremely janky, by the way. Just be warned. Yeah, I probably should have put a little more thought into how this works, but you know. All right, now let's make sure to paint the nitrogen pipe on this row so I actually know which one has nitrogen in it, because the other one will have water in it. And I guess we can go out this way a little further to do the next 4. All right, please do not be intersecting with that thing. Oh, we're good. All right, sweet. And let's try to keep it consistent, keep all the nitrogen on the bottom here. All right, and there we go. Nitrogen is going into all of these at the theoretical correct amounts. All right. All right, just like that, we've got them all patterned in. Let's get our iron plates going in. And I guess those can go on the top. Why not? We also need to configure these. Hold on. And, you know, I realized that I actually don't have to configure these. I can just set this one to the correct clock speed, which is 17.41. Nitric acid in this case is the least used liquid, so we can just kind of merge it together. And yeah, that seems pretty legit. Now, I've kind of screwed myself over here because, yeah. Is nitric acid a liquid or a gas? I would assume it's a liquid. You know, I realize I can also just solve my problem by moving the nitrogen pipe around because it is a gas and it doesn't really care. All right, and I'm going to do something even more weird and do this kind of like thing. There we go. We also only need 222 iron. That is... Did I just call that iron? I'm losing my mind. That's the line for water. We need 222 water. And that will go into there. Okay, let me get the water before I get iron instead. All right, so in theory, we also do not need any pumps on this because I think the water is actually higher than the elevation of these guys. So in theory, gravity should take over and make all of this nitric acid just like that. No issues here. Okay, sweet. Looks like we are getting some, at least on the right side. We do not have iron plates on this side because I did not connect them together. That is an easy fix. And it's probably just taking a little bit for water to get over to this side in order to make some over here. And I guess we are just about to prove that as well because this is filling up. And there you go. Nitric acid is being produced on all of the sides. Let's get these merged together right over here. And we should have 222.222 nitric acid, which is a liquid being produced. Sweet. Okay, so the last thing that we need to do before we actually start building the turbo fuel mixers, which we are probably going to actually do over there kind of on site because we kind of have to, we are going to need to run a giant fluid pipe from there all the way over to where that's going to end up going. Now, I don't know what I'm going to do for this because it is pretty cramped in here, but I'm thinking maybe I run it on top of the oil pipe over here along this edge. In theory, if I were to start making the turbo fuel, rocket fuel, whatever it's called, right in kind of this area, then we could send it up and then across to all of the generators, which I think actually makes the most sense, and that's probably what I will end up doing. Yeah, so we are going to have to cut this off to start, but I think that's going to be completely fine. We're just going to have to do it. Okay, let me get the pipe over here and we can actually start doing some destructive changes, because if power goes down, yeah, it's going to be cooked because I'm just going to be taking a fourth of my power grid offline. Oh boy. Alright, nitric acid has been supplied. I am running it on this catwalk looking thing. It is now time to do the dangerous thing and cut off a fourth of our power. I'm also going to be cutting off the turbo fuel packager, so hopefully I don't run out. I think I can just leave this here. I mean, I do have a stockpile of 400 plus whatever's in this thing, so I think it's going to be fine, but yeah, everything's about to get cut off, and that's a little scary. Okay, well, first things first, let's probably just cut off the fuel lines. I think that makes the most sense. Yeah, let's just cut off the fuel line, and then we'll just let this burn out, because there's no reason to waste all this fuel, right? And then once all the generators start shutting down, I can start removing them. Now, I'm not going to remove all of them right now. I'm just going to remove enough to place down the blenders that we need, and then we can start building the next huge platform to get the rest of everything going. And then I'll remove them then, because then I don't have to have, 100,000 generators sitting in my inventory, clogging everything up. Yeah, I guess while I am waiting for this, I could probably start building the next platform. There we go. Okay, that is the next floor. Don't mind the pollution going through the ground. It's fine. All right, also looks like this one is done, and I am going to take that one out because it kind of is in the way. Okay, so now we have to figure out where we want to put the blenders. And do I want to put them here, or do I want to fit them in here? Can they even fit in here? I don't know. They can, but not this direction, which is the direction I need them to be. So unfortunately, that's not going to happen. So we are going to have to put them where these generators are. Okay, it was worth a try, but it can't be done. We need 6 blenders. So do we go out this way, or do we try to double up? And honestly, I've been running one line of machines for the longest time, so let's just continue to do that. Yep, and let's put one right there to start. We need, I think it was actually 5.556 of these total, but yeah, that's 6 machines, but that's not so bad. And we'll set this to rocket fuel and copy the settings. We will also be getting some excess compact coal, which, as I've probably said about 5 times by now, we're sending back over to that area to get rocket fuel for the drones, which is going to be its own problem because it's going to also make compact coal, so there's going to be some very weird optimization math that we may have to do. Or I just trash it. I'm actually going to have to trash it anyways, because if the drone fuel gets backed up because the drones aren't flying very often, this is going to get backed up and my power's going to shut down, so we're going to have to trash it, but that's fine. All right, there we go. 6 blenders in. Let's get these plugged in as well. Let's get all the fluids in place, and I am going to have to figure out a nice way to get this nitric acid to kind of go down here, but that shouldn't be too bad. Oh, I'm also going to have to paint all these. All right, hold on. Gotta stay consistent, gotta stay consistent. There we go. That's better. And then we run it into a simple splitter right there and run that in like so. I need to stop copying the thing and just build it blue and then paint it, because that is what causes those little things in the middle to change color. Okay, but anyways, there we go. We've got rocket fuel, and we've got compact coal, and they're all going to come out from this way, and I think that's actually fine because I can send the compact coal back along this line, back up here, and then probably either on top of the pipes or right next to them, and it's probably going to have to be on top of the pipes, but I think that's going to be just fine. We also need to get a new color for the actual rocket fuel, and I've kind of used all my reds, so I guess we're going to do this orange. And as I've probably said about 18,000 times by now, rocket fuel is a gas, so we do not have to worry about any kind of fluid dynamics. Thank goodness for that. Now that we have our rocket fuel, we should also probably get the compact coal sink going now so we can actually start building up. But we're going to have to figure out how many generators we can place along here. Let's get out a blueprint designer here. You can do this, but there's no space in between these two. Except, I'm pretty sure there is a way to get all the fluids in there. I don't know if this works. I don't think this is connected. And I can't seem to connect it because it's too short. But if this works, then we don't have to build 100 million generators, which would be really, really nice. So let's try it. And maybe we can build this diagonally too, and maybe then it'll work. I'm not really sure. I swear there's a way to do this. It also appears that you can't build these diagonally. You have to build them straight, which is kind of stupid. But I'm going to try to figure out how this works. All right, well, you know what? I think it's time to do some science experiments. You got fuel in you? Yep. No. Okay, so that doesn't work, and I cannot figure out a way to get this to connect like that, so I don't think this is possible with a Mark II. Okay, yep, let's go get a Mark III. Let's see if we can do it. I hope we can, and if not, it's going to be a long day for me because I'm going to have to place so many. I got the compact coal moved over here, and just for now, we will deal with the drone setup later. I'm not even sure we'll get to that this episode because, I mean, if you haven't noticed yet, I've kind of been yapping about everything else instead of the generators because watching me place 535 generators is probably going to be really boring. It's going to be boring no matter what I do, so let's try to get all the yapping done now so then we can just kind of coast for the rest of it. Anyways, compact coal problem is now solved. Let's go see if we can get a Mark III. And also it appears the biochemical sculptures are not working, so let's go figure out why. Oh, because I'm stupid, and I plugged it into the wrong one. There we go. Okay, fix site's back on. Everything should be back on. We should be good to go. And hopefully we have some biochemical sculptures now. Odds we can actually build the Mark III designer? None. Yeah, I am not about to make 200 turbo motors. Nope. Okay, never mind. Well, it's going to be a long day for me. I'm going to have to place all of those generators by hand. Now also, can I snap a generator to a pipe? I don't know if there's actually fuel in this. Is this connected? No, it isn't. You have got to be kidding me. Oof. Okay, but yeah, let's try to get the spacing in at least. Okay, so the answer is no. We can't do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I can get 10 in here, so I think we're going to have to go back to the 2-lane thing. Oof. Okay, well, this is where the first two are going to be going in. And you know what? Actually, I guess we could just turn them on, huh? Oh my god, you can do that. What? That's crazy work. Okay, well, that's going to solve a lot of problems. Unfortunately, though, building that pipe is going to be kind of hard when you can't... Well, at least I don't know how to place splitters vertically. We can at least make this like 95% not terrible. So I'm going to have two blueprints, one of which is just this, and one of which is this but no auto-connect pipes, and then I will just simply place the piped one down, place the non-piped one down, and then connect them with one little pipe. So we only have to connect half of them to pipes. We are still going to have to plug everything into a power connector though, and that's going to suck, but whatever. At least it's easier. Okay, and now let's get one row built and then see how many rows we're going to need. All right, so this is looking pretty long. I do have a little bit more space, but I just realized, what if we try to get exactly a nice amount of floors, right? Because right now we've got, let's see, 19 by 2 is 38. And if we divide 133 by 44, we get 3.03. So I'd have to overclock one or maybe two of the generators. But then we would only have to have 3 floors. And there wouldn't be like a 4th floor with just a little bit on them. So I think we're going to go with that. So we need 44, which means we need 22 in a line. And this was at 19, right? So we just need 3 more. Well, bad news, I've pretty much already ran out of rubber and motors, and I don't even have the first floor of the first quarter. This is less than a 12th, and I'm already out. Oh boy, this is gonna take a while. There we go. That's the last one in. I basically ran out right about there, and now we have to put all of the pipes in place, and I did change the color of the pipes so I don't have to go color them all, so this will save a little bit of time. Luckily, it looks like placing the pipes is the easy part, and now the fun part is going to be placing all the power poles. Oh boy. You know, all things considered, that didn't take very long. Oh yeah, I also probably need to plug this into the actual power grid, and I should probably do it on that side, but you know what? We're already over here, and I don't care. So, okay, there we go. These should all be plugged into the main grid. Our Yeesh. Yeah, we're cutting that kind of close. 35 and 27. Yeah, that's a little scary. But to be fair, we do have the full sink working, so in theory, I should be able to plug this in. Well, now that's weird. If I look at the foundation, it says it's clipping, but if I don't, it isn't. So I'm just going to assume it isn't. Okay, anyways, we should be getting our rocket fuel up in here. We are, and we should be able to plug that in and start getting some generators going. Yep, look at that. Sweet. Okay, that is the first batch of generators. 1/12. Holy! This is going to be huge. Okay, well, now that we've got a 12th built, it's time to go up another floor, and then another floor, and build the rest, at least for this quarter. So, I think it's time for a time lapse. Yep, and here we are in our standard viewing spot over right here. That is the first floor done. 1 of 4. Jeez, and I have to do that 3 more times. We're going to have so much power. I don't even know what we're going to do with all of it. Well, I know exactly what we're going to do with all of it. We're going to sloop everything. I'm just kidding. But you probably did see I had to overclock one of them because we need 133.333 and 44 by 3 is 132. So we just overclocked one to 233% to account for that extra 1 plus 1 running at 33%. So this should be the perfect amount of generators to consume all of the rocket fuel we were making on this 4th of the factory. Good grief, dude. That's a lot. And now I have to do it 3 more times. Yay. Yeah, I don't even know what I'm going to do for that. You know what? Let me ask this guy. Do you know what I should do for that? Ow. Oh, wait. It's done. Yeah, I kind of figured, you know what? Let's just throw in the second half. So I did. Yep. As you can see, it's currently spinning up right now because the fuel has not reached the upper floor just yet. It's like maybe a third of the way through, but the second and lowest floor are completely generating already. And as you can see over here on the first build, it has pretty much made it all the way to the top. I think these ones are kind of flickering on and off. That's just how the nature of these pipe layouts work, but I think it's going to be perfectly fine. We're generating like 99.9% of what we should be, at least on this side. Now, this side, we have to wait for it to spin up, which takes, I think, like an hour-ish, but that's not too bad considering I think we've already more than doubled our total power. I mean, we can just take a look at one of the power poles here. Before this, we were generating 43,000, and now we're at 85. So we have pretty much doubled production, and we haven't even finished this yet. Yeah, and I've also had to go back to the base and actually pick up some rubber and Caterium quick wire because we've run out so much that I need to carry it in my inventory. Now, the real question is, how many motors do we have left? And I'm actually kind of curious, so I'm going to go take a look because I have a feeling we're probably out or next to it by now because I have been building... yeah, I think there's more generators here than I built total. Yeah, I thought so. We have 120 total motors left. This thing, I actually don't even know how fast this makes motors. 5 per minute. Oh, okay. Well, that won't do. I'm hoping our modular engines are done or close to it so I can start leaching motors off of that factory, but I also don't know because those are made at 10 per minute, and I decided it would be a great idea to put like 10 boxes down, so I don't have high hopes that those are ready either. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3 boxes full? 3 boxes full, and the 4th is almost there, so we might be able to start leaching some motors off of here in the near future. Okay, sweet. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go do that right now because I can make like 4 generators with the 120 motors that are in there. So yeah, let's go grab some motors from here. I'm happy I put a big box down, and in theory, it shouldn't be a problem if I just take them like this. because it will get refilled up eventually. Okay, let's also grab some rubber while we're here, because that one is the one that I run out of the most as well. And then I can go finish building the other two. And you know what? I think I'm going to save you the hassle. I'm just going to go kind of make them appear out of thin air. You ready for this? You ready for this? And there they are. All 533 generators are in. This thing is massive. There is so much going on here. Holy dude. Look at all of them. Good grief. You have no idea how long this took me, by the way. I think it did take longer to build this part than it did to build the generators part, but still, that's a lot of generators and a lot of manual connections. Now, I probably should also just do a flyby and make sure everything is actually plugged in correctly. It looks like it is, but I'm gonna have to just go fly in there manually. Okay, so the actual outputting power of this is 1,333 times 4 times 250, which is 133 gigawatts of total production, minus the, I would say, maybe 23 gigawatts from just actually making the fuel. So I'd guess around a net gain of 110 gigawatts. Not too shabby. Now we can also go ahead and take a look at the power pole here to see exactly how much our total consumption is. Now, as you can see, it is below 133 because some of the generators are not on, but we're currently producing 128 gigawatts. Very, very nice. Now, that means we can also just start sinking pretty much everything that we don't need, because why not, right? We get a bunch of points. I don't think I'm actually going to do that, though, because there isn't really a need to. If we need sync points, we're going to dedicate an entire factory to doing so, most likely later. Also, as you can see in the top right, we have almost completed the biochemical sculptures. So I think for the last little bit of this episode, we're going to just kind of sit here and watch all of the generators kick back on and all of the biochemical sculptures get produced and put into the space elevator. So we're just gonna basically AFK for like the next 10 minutes while we watch everything turn on. Well, I think that's good enough. All right, and looks like, yeah, since I was in free cam mode with no HUD enabled, we did not see the biochemical sculptures get in at the last second, but that's okay. They are done. We have 1,000 of them, and that is the first space elevator component done, plus the power is probably mostly all the way on. Okay, well, spoke too soon. Anyways, let's go ahead and take a look at our total power now that everything's working. 133 gigawatts. And with that, that is going to be it for this episode. Now that this power is complete, we can dedicate a whole bunch of it to making the fused modular frames, which is probably what we'll be doing in the next episode. Goodbye.